Good morning, good afternoon, good evening internet, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Economical Rides. Hi there, so you joined me actually where the last video left off, because I thought we might as well film the rest of this ride and hopefully I can make a video out of that one. So we've just had our little adventure on our unknown road, and this is another unknown road, but it does take me homewards, so we'll just film this and this could be another little video for you. There you go, I'm spoiling you. Let's go. So this road takes us to Lubrin, which is more or less where we started in the previous video, but the previous video took you around that way, around the bottom, and now we're going up around the top. So this is actually kind of a circuit. You could combine this with the previous ride, so I might do that in a future video. It's just the sort of place it would be nice to come out here in the springtime when the wildflowers are out. Should be quite colourful, so that's another one to bear in mind for the springtime. So this looks like it's a nice road, but a sort of a more major road, a faster road. The other road was more twisty, but then about halfway along it the surface did turn to rubbish. So yeah, this is probably more of an enjoyable road for people who like to ride fast. It certainly has similar nice views. The sun's unfortunately gone behind the clouds for now, which is a bit of a shame. But it's not horrifically windy and it's not wet, so it's all good. We won't complain too much. I did mention in the last video, upcoming videos, I mentioned that I was going to do a 3,500 kilometer review of the Classic, and then an extra video comparing the Classic and the Meteor, so that's still the plan. But there is also another video that I am currently in the planning stage with, and that is I'm going to put together a little video for you of my motorcycle history. So I'm currently collating the photos. I'm still missing a couple of bikes. I don't know if I'll be able to find photos of those bikes, but most of them, no, apologies, that was my mobile phone notification. Yeah, I think I've got most of the photos. I think I'm only missing 2 or 3 bikes. So yeah, there will at some point be a video covering my motorcycle history. I think that's probably a video I'll make when the weather's bad, because I can do that from home. So in a week where the weather is not conducive to riding and making videos, I shall certainly make that video. So that's coming in the foreseeable future as well. Well, I'm quite liking this road. There's not really much wrong with it. Yeah, and this is where we ended up last time. We went down here to Chive. This is where the video actually started, the previous video, in that road there. So this is taking us back to Luberon now. Very pleasant. There you go, that's a rarity for you, me overtaking somebody. Yeah, so this takes us now to Zergena, which is one of my favourite roads and is on the way home. And it takes us to La Rambla El Aljibe, which is a name I always struggle with, but you'll be familiar with that from other videos, I'm sure. So we're kind of in an area where I've been quite a lot, but I've never been that far down. I've never been on that road, so it's definitely interesting. Yeah, the old wind does tend to whistle through these mountains by the feel of it. It's not actually terribly windy as such, but obviously through these cut-throughs the wind manages to get quite strong. I've had some more submissions for other BODS dogs, by the way, but I haven't had any for other BODS mods. So if you've got any additions to your bike that you think others might be interested in, please send me pictures and some information, and we'll feature that in other BODS mods. And other BODS dogs, we have a few dogs lined up, but I'll spread those about. We don't want too much dogginess. But there are definitely more other BODS dogs segments coming because Ruby insists. I don't know whether I've mentioned it in the comments before, but Ruby is actually she's a dog who followed me home. I didn't actually go looking for a dog. My previous dog had died, and it was quite hard to deal with, so I had a couple of years without a dog, and I didn't intend to get another one. And one summer I was just taking my rubbish to the rubbish container. Out here we don't have like our own bins, we have rubbish containers dotted about the village. So I was walking, taking my rubbish to the rubbish container, and I saw this dog in the middle of the road in a bend, and I said, "Hello, what are you doing in the middle of the road?" And without a second thought, this dog came trotting up to me, as friendly as anything, as trusting as anything, and that was Ruby. And so I continued my walk to the rubbish container, and she followed along beside me. And then when I dumped my rubbish, I began to walk home. Ruby came along beside me all the way to my front door, and I didn't want another dog, so I was kind of thinking, if I don't feed her, she'll get bored and she'll go and look for food. But I gave her a bucket of 10-litre bucket of water because I could see that she was very thirsty. It was a week of it was in July, and we'd had a week of 40-degree plus temperatures. So I thought, well, I don't want her adopting me, so I'll just give her some water, and then once she's had a drink, she'll probably get bored if I don't feed her, and she'll go somewhere else to find food. Well, she stayed there for 3 days and 3 nights. So in the meantime, of course, I had to give her something to eat as well as drink. So I didn't have any dog treats or dog food in the house, obviously, so the only thing I had were actually sausages. So the very same sausages that Ruby gets when I get home from my rides, that was the very first food she ever got from me, so they probably have a special place in her heart anyway. So I gave her some sausages, and at the end of the 3 days she wasn't going anywhere, so I just put her in the car, took her to the vet. She wasn't chipped, she'd probably almost certainly never been vaccinated, so I got her chipped and vaccinated, and from then on she's been my little girl. So that's the story of Ruby. She was about 6 months old when I found her, and she was covered in ticks, and she had about 50 or 60 ticks on her. So I spent the first 3 days, when I had a spare 10 minutes, I'd go outside and remove some of her ticks. And yeah, that's basically the story of how Ruby ended up with me. And I must say, even though at the time I really didn't want a dog, I'm so glad that she chose me, because as you can imagine, she does give me a lot of love and affection, and she always makes me smile. So it worked out well in the end. Ruby knew what she was doing, and I think she found quite a good daddy, and she seems to be very happy. So that's the story of how I found Ruby. And you other Bod's Dogs people, you're going to send me pictures, and you can tell me a little bit about your dog's story, and I'll relate that as well when we do that segment. So here we are, we're in the town I can't pronounce properly, and this is the road where I encountered the crazy Porsche test driver. So hopefully they're not coming back this way, but they're heading somewhere else. So anyway, I think we'll wrap this video up. The sun's coming out, but you've seen this road multiple times. It's one of my favourite roads. I'll wrap this video up now. Thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed hearing the story about how I found Ruby. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Like and subscribe, and do the notification bell thing if you fancy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. So Ruby, Have you been a good girl for Daddy? Did you look after the house? Sausages. That's some good sausage handling there, Rube. Don't eat too much gravel. Good girl. Sausages.